Up in Canada, CRP doesn't exist, so Pheasants Forever Calgary members went to work on a program of their own, one meant to protect the ringneck pheasant. Browning Pro Ed Preckle helps you clean your gun the right way. And the pros from Purina show you how to train your dog on a gun blast.
Fetch him.
It's time for Pheasants Forever Television, celebrating America's ringneck pheasant.
Hunt him up. Come on, hunt him up. Be ready. That's a big rooster!
We gotta work it this way, east and west.
Let him get way up now. Rooster! Way to go. Way to go.
Hi everybody, I'm Ron Chera and welcome to the show. You know, all of us have heard about opening days of pheasant hunts in Iowa and South Dakota, but what about Illinois? Well, a fella named Jerry Rodine invited us to take a look.
Coffee at the Arcade Cafe goes on early, one day a year. Blaze Orange tells this story.
This is just the traditional pheasant opener in Illinois. All right.
These are actually a lot easier to use because you only got two pipes.
Right.
When it's open, it's safe. Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's go, guys. This is what you live all year for around here.
Here she goes.
Lots of hens, that's great.
Paxton, Illinois. Call it ground zero for some of the land of Lincoln's best ringneck hunting.
Watch your blockers now.
Whew. Got me sucking air already. This is a pretty big piece of ground.
I honestly believe we got the best pheasant hunting in Illinois.
Sure looks like it. Just why so many have come to hunt with the general.
Where have you got the other guys?
Jerry Rodine would be the general.
Yep, the general.
Let the dogs work.
He calls the shots, and so it's his land.
We're going down this end.
So if you don't listen to him and you walk the wrong way, then eventually you're gonna catch some slack for it.
It's like herding cats.
Realistically, whatever plan we do, we usually mess it up anyways.
It's my real hobby and love of life.
Jerry Rodine, as most folks know him, he's a guy who remembers the old days.
At one time we were a destination hunting area. Field and Stream rode us up. I grew up hunting. My granddad and my dad always took me.
But like so many places, the pheasants slowly disappeared. Jerry, a national board member with Pheasants Forever, thought he'd do something about it.
We went in and we used the formulas that PF preaches. We've done a little bit of our own conservation work. East Central Illinois is probably one of our most successful areas of bringing back pheasant habitat and pheasant hunting.
In fact, Jerry's habitat beliefs became the foundation for one of Illinois' most successful habitat programs. It's called the Habitat Wheel.
Our goal is to roll out 25 of these habitat wheels in the next 3 years or by the 25th anniversary.
There's no doubt in my mind that Pheasants Forever and what they've worked with Jerry and the guys, the locals that are down here all the time, that's what's brought the birds back.
Hen! Jeez! Whew! That's exciting!
Good dog.
And that's what brings out this opening day crew year after year.
That was good.
Certainly is a very eclectic group.
Eclectic? Maybe. Big? For sure. 25 hunters from all over the country.
It's an interesting experience.
It's nice to have a couple weekends out of the year where you can come down and be away from city lights and movie theaters and a bunch of stuff, and people get so excited for the points and the birds.
Woo! Moral of opening day goes something like this.
We found them.
Illinois habitat sure headed the right direction. But those long crossing shots in the wind, well, they could always use a little work.
Up next, Browning Pro Ed Preckle hands over his best tips to make sure your gun stays clean and fires straight. Later, Pheasants Forever members praise the work of Jim Meager. See his work and you'll understand why. Then, we'll see how Pheasants Forever protects ringneck hunting up in Canada. And the crew from Purina talks training. Find out how to get your young dog used to the blast of a shotgun. You're watching Pheasants Forever Television. Pheasants Forever Television, brought to you by Gander Mountain, We Live Outdoors, and by South Dakota Tourism. Plan your South Dakota pheasant hunt with online deals at TravelSD.com. Now we head to the field for Shotgun Savvy, brought to you by Browning, the best there is.
Hi, I'm Ed Preckle with Browning and Top Gun Shooting Sports. Today we're going to talk about gun cleaning and why it's so important. The first thing you need to do after coming in from the field is get the gun out of the case. This will prevent it from rusting. To start, be sure that the gun is unloaded. Then, I like to disassemble the gun. This makes it easier to do a more thorough job of cleaning. To do a good job cleaning your gun, you're going to need several products. I like to use bore cleaner to get inside the action and to clean the chokes. Regular gun cleaner works well on the outside of the gun to clean off any fouling, dirt, and grease. When we're finished cleaning the gun, we're going to want to put on a light coat of gun oil. To clean the inside of the barrel, nothing works better than the barrel weasel. It's got the bristles at one end to loosen the debris and the thick padding at the other end to pull it out. I'm going to start by applying the bore cleaner to the tough spots, here inside the action and also on the chokes. Next, I wipe the parts down. The bore cleaner removes the debris very quickly. Next, I like to take the gun cleaner and just spray lightly over the barrels. Again, I just gently wipe them off. As you can see, the gun cleaner cleans it up very quickly. Next, I'm going to clean the inside of the barrel with the barrel weasel. Start by just dropping the weight down the barrel and gently pull it through. After running the barrel weasel through the barrel a couple of times, I'll take my first shot gun oil and gently apply a light coat of oil back on the barrel, inside the action, then just gently wipe it off and the gun is ready to reassemble. Taking time to clean your gun will protect your investment, ensure that your next trip out in the field will be the best there is.
As you might know, wildlife artists have contributed to conservation causes for a long time. So that brings up another artist by the name of Jim Meager. He paints pheasants that fly off the canvas and into conservation causes. He dabs and strokes, and his brush flows so smoothly across the canvas. Jim Meager makes it look so easy now.
I'm having a ball. I'm really having a ball. Look at the piece. I mean, it's different.
He's a struggling artist no more, as the demand for his signature on a wildlife painting has spread far and wide from his studios in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. But as always, he's a perfectionist.
The reason these are the color that they are, these trees, is I've changed the lighting in here so many times.
What are you calling this series?
It's called Boundary Waters New Beginnings. And the title of that, it kind of relates both to the fact that it's new beginnings in terms of painting context, style for me, the way I started the painting, and you know, the colors, the types of brushes.
Meager's artistic career was launched more than 2 decades ago with his rendition of waterfowl, mainly canvasback ducks that seemed to almost fly off the canvas.
When I was a kid, I was totally fascinated with waterfowl.
Raised in a rural southwestern Minnesota community, other farmland wildlife also attracted Meager's artistic brush as his painting fame spread. Many of his subjects began as pencil sketches: bears, pheasants, deer, and scenery.
And the thing that I really have been thrilled about is the flush of a rooster. And once again, I put all the critters in there, you know, the fox, the cottontail.
Megger's Edina studio is cluttered with wildlife models, favorite paintings, and an always-present sidekick, the studio cat.
So if you look very carefully, in every painting that I have, there's a lot of cat hair in it.
Megger's interest in wildlife goes beyond the easel, of course. He shares a wooded home with his wife Lorene and daughter Elise, plus assorted wild critters, such as wood ducks and songbirds.
I'm very, very concerned about the environment and conservation. I mean, in a heartfelt way, not in terms of just, you know, selling to make my livelihood, although I'm very fortunate to do what I do.
Megger says he hopes to deliver a conservation message in every painting.
The message to this is, let's not destroy it. I mean, those trees, particularly those beautiful large white pines, I mean, that's what you go there for. If you take those out, if we destroy the pristine quality of this, it's like life really isn't worth living as much. I mean, we've really lost something irreplaceable.
Whatever the message, Megger still enjoys the creative process.
I'm one of those very few people that you'll ever find that is truly doing something that they love, and that to get up to go to work in the morning is a joy.
But his brush strokes sometimes change. Remember the earlier painting? Well, this is what it looks like now, after Megger's final strokes. What's the lesson? Well, give nature time to heal, and the earth can be restored, just like a Jim Megger painting.
Light 'em up. Up next, we head to the field for today's Habitat Habit. Plus, Purina's pros talk gun blast training.
I'm Bill Shirk, the man of field. Ringnecks in Canada? You bet. We'll take you to the pheasant capital of Alberta today.
Pheasants Forever Television, brought to you by Browning, the best there is, and by EAR Inc., specialized hearing systems for sportsmen and hunters. Habitat Habit, brought to you by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment.
Hey, I'm Matt Holland, Senior Field Coordinator for Pheasants Forever. And doesn't this prairie look great? You want to know why? It's because this area was burned last spring. Prescribed fire is one of the best tools you can use to keep your prairie and your grassland habitat vital.
Light 'em up.
Why do we use prescribed fire? Well, it knocks back your exotic species, it revitalizes your grasslands, and it'll keep undesirable woody trees out of your grassland cover. But there's a catch. Prescribed burns can be complex, and without the proper training and respect, can be a dangerous thing. That's why at Pheasants Forever, we recommend you contact a professional. Pheasants Forever habitat teams conduct prescribed burns for you on your land. Contact one of our habitat teams, and you and your grasslands will be glad you did. Give fire its proper respect, and you'll see how it improves your habitat and ensures pheasants forever.
Purina presents Gun Dog Savvy. Purina, fuel the champion within.
Bob, we get lots of questions from people on how to take their young dog and introduce them to the gun without creating problems.
It's very important, Arlie, because some dogs might be predisposed to that problem, but I have to say gun sensitivity or gun shyness in the extreme case is man-made. Now, certain individuals within all breeds have a tendency to be timid. So those are the ones we have to pay special attention to. Our objective is to create an understanding that that loud, harsh, scary sound by itself is always associated with fun, exciting things.
Fetch him up.
So here's how I do it, Arlie. One suggestion is that we continue to try to associate this with fun things. So let's set the dog up about 35 yards out. Young dog, maybe we're in the 5-6 month old. And we throw a dummy or a bird out there and let them drive to it. And we're eliciting that prey drive, so they're having fun doing that. And then we'll pop a blank gun while they're on the way. And we'll observe that. If they're doing okay, they might even act like they didn't even hear it. Then the next day we'll bring that gun a little earlier in the sequence. So eventually, we're shooting the gun as a cue, then the dummy comes out, and then the dog drives to it. And he's now associated that, hey, this is fun, exciting, that gun, that sound is a good thing for me.
So we can see that gun shyness is a preventable problem, and if we introduce our dog to the gun properly, we'll never have a gun-shy dog.
There goes one.
Still ahead, we're off to Alberta in search of ringnecks and the program meant to protect them. Pheasants Forever Television, brought to you by Purina, fuel the champion within, and by Echo Outdoor Power Equipment. Tough guys need tough tools.
Welcome back to the show. Pheasants Forever has spread through the U.S., but did you know it now makes its home north of the border in Canada too?
On a cold, quiet Alberta morning, all seems right out on the prairie. The near silence of a pothole hunt may be the reason these Pheasants Forever Calgary members hike. But as day becomes night, in the small Alberta town of Brooks,
Hi, how are you this evening?
pheasant hunters like to make a little noise.
We usually come pretty close to filling the place, you betcha.
Brooks Pheasant Festival packs the house.
It's really exciting, actually, you know.
Proof that people here have a passion for the ringneck pheasant. A passion you'll see in the field.
Rooster! Good shot.
The tale of Canada's ringneck pheasant is a quite curious one. It's a story that starts with a train. Way back in the late 1800s, the Canadian Pacific Railway laid the first tracks and settled southern Alberta. The government paid the railroad with 25 million acres of land. Problem was, the land was all desert. The arid Alberta acres needed water. So, the railroad went to work on a mammoth 2-mile-long aqueduct. When the water finally came, so did the ringneck pheasants, most along the hundreds of miles of irrigation dikes.
And that really has had a profound impact on the on habitat here.
Locals like Pheasants Forever member Dave Bissett know the story well.
Suddenly you're living in virtually a desert, because it was a desert before the irrigation came in.
Over the decades, the Brooks Aqueduct slowly gave way to time. But the push to protect birds and habitat still runs strong.
Okay, these are thorny buffalo berry.
Which is exactly why biologist Rick Martin's in business.
Here you can see the red berries on them.
Rick, a member of Pheasants Forever, also heads up the local habitat program for his irrigation district, what's called the Eastern Irrigation District. Pheasants Forever and the EID went to work on a grassroots program a little bit like CRP, with a different twist.
We've got lots of open spaces here and a lot of interested landowners who want to see enhanced habitat on their properties.
It's not like CRP or something like that where they get some kind of financial income from it. There's no money exchange at all. The landowner wants this wildlife habitat. That's why they work with us.
Much of the work happens in the corner of fields.
Our fields are square, pivots go in a circle, so you end up with corners that aren't irrigated. And that's one place where a lot of our cooperating landowners are willing to take land out of production and use a pivot corner for habitat.
Workers plant grass and trees and then help landowners maintain it all.
Started just with a few pilot projects, and it's just continued on. You know, we're only limited by funds. We have landowners all throughout southern Alberta on the waiting list.
A lot of little bits put together makes it into a pretty big picture, actually.
That big picture? Long-term habitat for Alberta's wild critters.
There's birds in those areas now where a lot of those areas were just cultivated land before, so we are making a difference. I have no doubt in my mind.
Short-term, the work pays off in the field.
It's a real pleasure to see birds in some of the projects you're working on. Hopefully we'll see some birds in here.
There goes one.
it is making a difference. I can truly say that.
Rooster! Good shot.
Yeah. Kind of a worthwhile endeavor.
Pheasants in Canada? Who knew? Well, that about does it for us. We've come to the end of the field. Remember, take a kid hunting. I'm Ron Chera on behalf of Pheasants Forever.
Good, good.
That's exciting. Good dog.
That was good.
Pheasants forever. That truly is our goal. Join us.